I suffered a major manic episode during my junior year of college at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, and it was the most terrifying experience of my life, without question. Losing control of my central command center is like no other feeling I've ever encountered before. What's up, everybody? My name is Tyler Adolfo. I'm 26 years old, and I have a diagnosis of bipolar type 1 with psychotic features. I was diagnosed 2 times in about a 6-month period. Once in October of 2021, when I was hospitalized for exhibiting a wide array of grandiose delusions, which concerned my friends greatly. And then again, when I started treatment for the disorder in February of 2022, February 23rd, I believe, and I was diagnosed with the same thing again, bipolar with severe mania. This experience definitely changed the way that I view the world. For 6 months, I had no control over my central command center, and this had many consequences. I lost my job. I got expelled by my frat. I got expelled by my university. I lost so many friendships because of the things that I was saying and doing, both in person as well as on social media. And so in this video, I'm going to approach this on two fronts. First, I'm going to talk about some of the delusions I had, which I no longer adhere to. And then to close out, I'm going to talk about how I view the world today. Because it's much different than the way that I viewed it before. That's a certainty. Delusions I have, which I don't have anymore. One is, I thought that I had this strong connection with the media. And this was in part because I was, in fact, featured in the New York Times for a sexual assault fundraiser that I organized through my social fraternity. And we raised money for organizations that help victims and survivors of sexual assault, something that's a very personal matter to me. And after that moment, I started developing some grandiose thoughts that I had deep connections with the media, and that I would organize the media to stem out any wrongdoing that I encountered in the world. And this goes to the next delusion that I developed is I thought that the sexual assault transcended what was going on in other fraternities and that it was taking place in my own fraternity. And as a result, I threatened to expose what was going on in my own fraternity, even though there was nothing of note going on with regards to sexual assault. But these are delusions that I ardently adhered to. And there wasn't much I could do about it. I just didn't have the control. I didn't have the insight to know that the things I was believing in were wrong. A strong delusion that I later developed, and my mania intensified and got worse as time went on. When it first started, it was somewhat fun. I had a brilliant sense of humor. I was much more sociable. I talked really fast, and I associated that with increased intelligence, although to others it sounded like just rambling. But in my mind, these were benefits. I was productive in some capacity for a limited amount of time, to an extent that it got me in the New York Times. But this didn't last for long. Later, much stronger delusions developed, in particular, that I was related to John F. Kennedy. I thought that my grandmother had slept with John F. Kennedy. And that he was my grandfather. And I thought that the same people who assassinated Kennedy were now out to get me. And of course, Oswald didn't do it. We all know that, right? This is at least what I believed at the time while I was in that manic state. And I thought that the government was orchestrating against me and that there was going to be an attack on the campus. Just a wide array of different things. And I thought that Nazi agents were after me, that I was part of some clandestine operation to stop it. I would have phone call hallucinations with military general that didn't exist. And what's crazy about that is that the hospital where I was hospitalized from October 2021 to November 2021 for about 5 days is that they released me despite the fact I was having many of these symptoms, these severe symptoms of mania. And I really wish they would have done more on their part and had kept me there, because there was no rational reason to release me in the state of mind that I was in and put me back in society. I was a danger to myself. I was a danger to others. So these are all delusions I had during mania, which I do not have anymore. That's the lens through which I viewed the world while I was in mania. And of course, I no longer hold any of those views. How I view the world now has definitely changed because of what transpired. One of the major things is that I recognize that there are limitations to what I can and can't do going forward. I don't want to put myself in a strenuous work situation, for instance, a job like an attorney or a medical doctor, where other people are so reliant on me being in a healthy mind. I'm so fearful of the fact that I could go into a manic episode again, whether I'm on medications or not. So I now realize that there are limitations and that I don't have to conquer the world. Before, I had this strongly held belief that there was nothing beyond my control. And without qualification, I believed in the William Jennings Bryan quote that destiny is a matter of choice. And I still cleave onto it to an extent, but I qualify it in the sense that I realize that I have a condition that is lifelong. And so I need my expectations to be reasonable and my goals to be attainable, smart goals. A major lesson I learned, and this is something that has also changed, is that relationships are ephemeral. They are incredibly fleeting and short-lasting. I lost so many friends because of the things I said and did during mania. A lot of it has to do with the distance that has been created between us. But just going back in time and analyzing my life, I don't keep in touch with any of my high school friends, really. Although I did speak to 3 of them actually in the past few days and were able to catch up with them over the phone. So that was a nice experience. But that's been different from the rest of the time so far since I've been out of high school, that's for sure. And, the things that I said about people during mania were so awful. I accused people of being Nazis. I accused them of raping people. And I can understand why they wouldn't want to associate with me anymore. And because of that fact, I don't want to go through that hardship again of creating friendships and losing them because of actions that I take during mania. And that is why I now believe that I cannot go without medications. Before, I was one of those people who believed that medication had way more cons than pros, and that there's no environment where I would take medications consistently over time because of the negative effects and detrimental effects that it can have on your mental and physical well-being, which I've certainly experienced since starting bipolar medications. I've been put on a wide array of mood stabilizers, antipsychotics, and antidepressants, and in that time I've put on 170 pounds. I feel like I have brain fog at times. Sometimes I vomit after taking some of my medications, so that's not a good thing. That's like my body's rejecting it, but I take them because they saved me from mania. I was in the depths of mania. It was hell on earth for me, and I don't want to go back to that environment of mania. My mind was in complete pandemonium, and mania just presents so many problems to your life. I mean, it was so destructive to me in such an incredibly short amount of time, and I don't want to go through that experience again. And medications, although they do not completely prevent your chance of going into mania, they significantly reduce the probability of you going into mania again, and I think that's important. Another thing that I've come to learn in the way that I view the world now is that bipolar disorder is something that is highly stigmatized. And in particular, it is misunderstood very often. There are many misconceptions about it. one thing some people will contend to me that really bothers me is people will say, oh, well, we all have a little bit of bipolar, right? Not true. There's different numbers on the percentage of people who have bipolar. Some estimate that it's as low as 2%. Others estimate that it's around 4%. But bottom line is that bipolar disorder is a severe brain disorder that an overwhelming majority of the population does not suffer from. And that's not to diminish the seriousness of other mental illnesses which people may have, but bipolar is a severe brain disorder. 20% of people diagnosed with it will commit suicide. And that's a shocking and terrifying statistic to me because, at least when I'm in a rational state of mind, I want to live. I want to be able to be with my family. I want to be able to form friendships again. I want to be able to be productive and successful again at some point in my life. But the stigmas of bipolar deeply bother me and upset me when they're expressed and iterated to myself. So those are the ways that I view the world now. Those are the delusions that I don't have anymore. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you have any suggestions for a future video, drop them down in the comments below. I tremendously appreciate everyone who's been supporting and viewing the videos. The channel's done phenomenally well. I started this year at around 250 subscribers, and we've quickly grown to 760 subscribers, I believe, somewhere around there. And I'm ecstatic about that fact and about the prospects of the future of this channel. It's been helping so many people. People have been telling me that they resonate strongly with my experience, and that's my intention here. And I'm glad people understand my intention of helping other people. And hopefully we can help destigmatize this illness and help more people open up to share their stories so that we can better understand each other and better enlighten the world. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. I appreciate all of y'all. Have a wonderful day.